thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview. Tell me about a little bit more of your history.
Well, I'm from the district, born and raised here. Went to public schools right here in Huntsville, all over town. Graduated from Lee High School in the class of 1998. Like all master plumbers, I went away to Boston University with a theater scholarship. I was in New York chasing that dream for a long time. I was a union member, union actor. Came back south, helped open and run restaurants, and was doing that when I met my wife. And started over in the trades at 32 years old as a $10 an hour plumber's helper. I worked my way up in a company, and about 6.5 years ago left and started the company I believed I could with my hands and our old GMC Yukon, and now 6.5 years later, we've got 7 employees and 6 work trucks, and it's a small business, but it's, we do good work for people, and most importantly, or as importantly, it's dignity of work for our employees. So we're really proud of that.
Tell me why you are choosing to run for this seat.
I woke up last night at about 2:45 in the morning and just snapped out of sleep, worried. And I went in, like I often do, and looked at our sleeping girls. We have 3 little girls, a 10, 9, and a 5-year-old. And that's why. Because our 10-year-old has never seen a functional American democracy. She's never seen a functional politics where we don't other each other. And I think people are tired of a politics of division and politicians who don't listen. So I solve problems for a living. We fix houses for a living. I say the house is broken and we've got to fix the house.
I want to ask a little bit more about this seat specifically. Sure. District 5, Huntsville. Currently, Dale Strong is in that seat. A lot of people, agree or disagree
Sure.
with Mr. Strong, but Strong has brought a lot of things to Huntsville and to the local area. How do you think you can challenge Strong in the election and potentially turn that seat from red to blue?
I would ask what has Dale done actually that wouldn't have been done with somebody else that didn't divide us on purpose. So I would counter and say that Terry Sewell has been working to get Space Command to North Alabama a whole lot longer, way before Dale Strong was in Congress. And so we've been, in one of the pushbacks on why Space Command, for example, wasn't coming here, was our politics are too extreme, that if we were more moderate, it's going to be better for business. And so you get another example of DOGE. DOGE cost us 25% of jobs at Marshall Space Flight Center. Thousands of jobs. That's not voting for this district. And just this morning, I talked to a constituent, a person that I had never met before in my life, and he told me how he is on the ACA. And you look at this vote from yesterday, that Dale voted against extending the ACA subsidies. He's a small business owner. He has a family. He was paying $1,200 a month. It tripled to $3,300, almost tripled to $3,300 a month, and now he has no insurance for his family. Tell me how that's representing this district. So it's good to bring corporations, but we're more than just big business here. We're a whole community, and I believe you got to hear every voice, not just the ones that agree with you, and that's my intention.
I want to ask a little bit more about those Affordable Care Act subsidies.
Sure.
That was being discussed in our nation's capital yesterday. What were your reactions to the vote?
People like to say that as someone who was uninsured for years, and within my company, it's why I pay for my guys' insurance in full. It doesn't come out of their check. I pay for it because nobody should be afraid to get hurt or be sick, because I have lived that. I used to be afraid to get sick because there was no protection for pre-existing conditions. That was no way to live. Nobody should have to live in fear. So, was it perfect? Is it perfect? It's probably not. So propose a solution. But no one has proposed a solution, certainly not the Republican Party. And what's passed yesterday is no kind of solution, and there are hundreds of thousands of Alabamians, 300,000 on the ACA, and they're about to not have insurance. So if you want to replace it, but with something at least as good as or better, but that's not what's been voted for.
Wanted to ask as well, just look at my notes again, the balance The Balance Accountability Pledge. What is that, and can you break down what that is?
I can, and I really appreciate you asking about it. This is something, I know if folks have their SNAP benefits cut, they're not worried about government reform. There's more immediate, we have to focus on, and we are focusing on the kitchen table issues that people are feeling every single day. We're not disconnected. I work under houses for a living, and I own a small business. I am absolutely connected to these issues. However, why don't these big problems that we see in government, these systemic problems, get fixed? And I think that the incentive structure, we're in need for some reform. And I identified 5 points, and I've reached out to other candidates around the country that are joining with me in something I call the balance accountability candidate. Balance of power, accountability to your constituents, and the U.S. Constitution. How about that for an idea? So it's a 5-point pledge for term limits for Congress, get rid of Citizens United so we can get rid of unlimited corporate money in our politics, no stock trading for Congress because your job is not to go there and get rich, your job is to serve the people, a moratorium from Congress to K Street, so you don't just go from Congress straight to being a lobbyist, you have to wait a while. Love to get rid of that completely. And finally, and maybe most importantly, an enforceable code of ethics for the U.S. Supreme Court. So it's a 5-point pledge. People want this kind of reform. I believe that our president got elected largely because he told people that things are rigged, they're broken, and guess what? They are. The status quo is broken. So we have a solution. And we're going to unite together, and I believe you're going to see hundreds of Democrats united on the steps of the Capitol, hopefully this summer, standing together and say, these are the 5 things that we're going to do. It's not going to fix everything, but it's a start, and we're serious about it. And so we've started. You should look for the website within a couple of weeks. It will be up, and you'll start seeing these other candidates that I've reached out to from upstate New York to California, and I'm very excited about it. And I think it's an important story, and I think that it's going to show folks that we understand right here in North Alabama how to lead the way forward back maybe to a more decent and a more moderate place where government works for the people, which is what it's supposed to do.
Now, a follow-up question on that. You mentioned the word accountability, and a lot of people have said that they want their lawmakers held accountable for promises that they made that they are not keeping. If elected to this position, would you want to be held accountable for promises that you keep?
Period, full stop. And that's a great thing about the U.S. House, is it's a short feedback loop on purpose. It's very short on purpose. What we have right now in an incumbent is someone that hasn't held a real town hall, where you sit in the same room with someone for literally over a year. Think about that. It's only a 2-year term. For over a year, he hasn't sat with people that are upset with him. It's good to sit with people that agree with you. That's important. And it's good to go to a ribbon cutting ceremony. But that's not governance. Governance is listening to everyone. And this district, I don't believe it's bright blue. I don't believe it's bright red. We have the most engineers per capita in the country. We are a smart place. We are a decent place. And I believe that listening to everyone is something that everyone will respond to, and that's what we intend to do. And I think that's how we start getting accountable governments, is to listen to people, and when they're upset, don't say, oh, you're not upset. Say, I hear you. I hear you that you're upset. Now, how are we going to solve your problem? That's the job. Represent the district, solve problems for the district, and that's what we're going to do.
I have no other questions. Is there anything else you would like to add today?
Just to say thank you.